I want to get to Google in a second. Structure for storytelling, do you want to just give us a quick, or did you already?
No, that's the kind of fourth step that we've taken, and essentially that's about changing marketing approaches. So adapting to this whole changing marketing environment, this migration, if that's what it is, away from paid media into owned and earned media, and letting getting the penny to drop somewhere like the British Library that we are never going to spend our way to marketing success. We are never going to buy attention in sufficient volumes to be able to compete with the people who really can. But we do have some of the most incredible, unique and attention-grabbing content assets anywhere in the world, and we should be relying on those. So what that means is, or has meant, is a restructuring of internal teams to take advantage of that, so that we're not really focusing on channels, which we were before. We had a small email marketing team, we had a small social marketing team, a small kind of print collateral team, and so on. Instead, we've merged that into one, what we call content and community team, where the most important thing is not the channel, it's the content, creating the best story around the thing, and making sure that goes out consistently and efficiently across channels.
I think that's great advice. I mean, we talk often about moving away from a channel-centric approach to a content-centric approach, where the channels are just where you happen to distribute said content, and really thinking about content as a foundational layer for your marketing organization. I think that structural change, a lot of people may buy into that idea. Having the teams organized that way has been challenging, but we're seeing it happen. So you said something, I want to ask you a few very specific questions that hopefully are helpful to the team. You don't have a huge budget, yet I saw some of your analytics and your graphs, those are all up and to the right. So I believe SEO is a big channel, if you can talk about that, and then how do you decide what content to create? Not like from a high level strategy, but literally someone comes into work, how do they decide what article should I create today? What tools do you use, or how do you navigate that?
So we break that down into three parts. So this is the what we want to be known for question.
Yeah.
And we follow another smart guy called Robin Sloan, who has kind of coined this description of content types. This differentiation of content types between stock, which is your permanent stuff, the stuff you want to still be valid in 2 years' time and 3 years' time and 5 years' time, and flow, which is your kind of your fireworks, your blog posts, your tweets, your things that go off and remind people you exist, and grab attention. So at the highest level, we've got stock, and that's where we take a year or more sometimes to develop the content resource that we're creating. And then we've got flow at the bottom, where someone comes into the office that morning. It's not quite as short term as that. It's normally planned, sort of month or so in advance. But contextually, what's happening topically, what's happening out there in the world, what's happening inside the library, marry those two things up, and then say, right, we want to talk about maps, because we're opening a maps exhibition and it's International Map Day or something like that.
Do you do keyword research to try and find like white space or opportunities before you create the content?
Yeah. Not so much for the flow, but certainly for the stock. So all of our big stock projects have a demand analysis, which is mostly keyword led, to find out what it is people are searching for, so that we can again marry up what it is the library wants to say, because it's quite the editorial impulse somewhere like the British Library is quite strong. Like a publisher or newspaper has a strong opinion about what it wants to say. And we try to marry that up with what the audience is looking for, to try and get the best of both.
I've found that often what we think the audience is looking for, even for the same topic or big rock, but they use different words to search for those things. They call it something else.
Yeah.
So as a marketer, we often think, oh, everyone's referring to it using XYZ keywords, but really people are searching for something totally different.
And often all it needs is a tiny little tweak to what you were going to say anyway, and you can double your SEO.